A dramatic match at the Gaelic grounds. Limerick eventually coming out on top by 321 to 23 points. It was a brilliant second half from the treaty that saw them over the line here. They're pretty much true to a Munster final at this stage. Certainly they'll be competing in the latter stages of the All-Ireland Championship. They'll be facing Clare next in Ennis, and that's going to be a cracking game. Tipperary, they probably did need a result here. There still is a mathematical situation whereby they can make their way through. But it was a really good performance. Losing by 7 is obviously a bitter pill to swallow. And as ever, it was a case of Limerick just making that second half burst. It's something we've seen throughout, well, I suppose, throughout the last number of years under John Kiley and Paul Kinnerk beside him. But I suppose if you're to look at the Munster Championship so far this year and the sort of scoring burst they've had that have beaten away the challenges of both Cork and Waterford, both of whom were competing well in the first half, as Tipperary did here. I mean, it was a 10 points to 2 run against Cork from minute 39 to 60 that set up that platform to Limerick for Limerick to coast home. Against Waterford from minute 50 to 62, they went on an 8 points to 1 scoring run. Again, that was decisive. And I suppose in the latter part of the second half here, Tipperary got a few points towards the end, but it was a burst of 2-5 to a point that really sundered Tipperary and allowed Limerick to see it out. I mean, Tipperary were missing a huge amount of players, as we know, coming into this, and I just put them on screen again here. Seamus Callan, John O'Dwyer, Jason Ford, John McGrath, to name just a few. Conor Bowe, whose names there wasn't fit enough to start. He had hurt his hand in the first game out against Waterford, but was able to come on and make a big impact here. Limerick, of course, were without some key players in Cian Lynch, I suppose, is the one that people would talk about most, especially Brian O'Grady and a couple of more weren't available, like Darren O'Connell. But they certainly had that bench to dip into as the game went on. David Reedy, he got himself a score. Conor Boylan, he ended up with a goal. There was just so many different scorers for Limerick, but I suppose the one that stands out head and shoulders above the rest would have to be Aaron Gillan. He scored 2-5 here, 2-1 of that from play. It's his ability to just catch ball over defenders. See the full video only at patreon.com/OurGame.